All the streets around this area are blocked. It was even tough for our crew to get here to the staging center. Some of the people who received that call stopped by today, leaving flowers, stuffed animals, and cards for the family. Good morning. I'm Adrienne Broaddus. Diana and Brian have the day off. Thanks so much for joining us. We've got a lot to tell you about. First, today, Russian fighter jets are reportedly bombing ISIS targets in Syria, but U.S. officials aren't so sure about the intended targets. NBC's Keir Simmons explains why. Leaders of Black Lives Matter St. Paul are meeting with Mayor Chris Coleman today. They're discussing the planned protests at this Sunday's Twin Cities Marathon. Turning to our weather now, cool and sunny today. Meteorologist Jeff Edmondson is in the backyard with our first look at weather. Jeff, it's October 1st. Many of the protesters here taking over the streets still want to know why that officer shot Mike Brown so many times.
But it should be pretty warm to the touch.
And it is warm, folks.
Yes, very warm.
Here's something folks in the South aren't used to seeing: snow. Hours have passed since the wild ride here on Interstate 94 in Rogers. Investigators say Thursday night wasn't the first time the 6-year-old walked away from his home. He was located 10 to 15 feet from the shore of the Mississippi River. Stephen L. Smith is the attorney representing Tania Harris. He said in part, quote, "There is some room to question whether lethal force was necessary. The question Tania and her family raised tonight: could the officer have apprehended her in a way that didn't result in a shooting?"
They coming down the middle to get the bullets out.
Tania Harris says these scars left by bullets are now linked to her journey. One bullet,
It kind of split my liver a little bit.
the other.
It had fractured my hip bone.
But she says her invisible scars are the hardest to heal.
The more I talk about it and express myself, it's helping me get over it more.
It happened April 16th. Harris says a Robbinsdale police officer shot her 3 times. Police say the officer fired twice. Harris's mother initially called 911 to report an unwanted person outside this apartment complex for a verbal fight. But Thursday, after a 4-month investigation, Robbinsdale police issued a statement saying in part, quote, "The shooting was justified under Minnesota's use of deadly force statutes." That investigation included talking to witnesses and officers on the scene. When the officer fired, police say Harris was holding this 8-inch butcher knife.
She yells out, "I'm going to kill you."
That's the voice of Robbinsdale Police Chief Jim Franzen. He didn't want to talk to us on camera. He agreed to explain these still images he created from the dash camera in the police car.
The officer starts backing up. She's within 5 to 10 feet of the officer, and that's when he fires and stops the assault.
Speaking through her attorney, Harris insists officers used excessive force when they shot her. The 18-year-old is now facing second-degree assault charges.
Who can I trust? My mom called them to protect us.
Meanwhile, Tania doesn't deny being armed with a dangerous weapon. She says she had that knife in her hand for protection. Because of the assault charges, she has a trial date set for next month. And I did speak with her attorney earlier today. He's hoping they can clear this all up.
Okay to use either arm for blood pressure?
Throughout life, we all wait for someone or something.
Sometimes it's rather quick, sometimes it's not quite so quick. So
Tom Meeks is waiting for an update on the condition of his new heart.
And I'm just excited to feel it beat again.
Casey Heisler waits to hear the rhythm of that heart again. It was a Sunday. The phone call came at 4 a.m.
Do you have the right guy? Are you sure it's Matt?
Her brother Matt was a student at the University of North Dakota. In March, a house fire ended his life. Matt was 21.
He was very tender. From a little boy, he was always he had a huge heart.
Good to see you.
say, see you, Doc.
And Tom, he now lives with that same heart.
You look awesome.
I'm telling you, I feel awesome.
When you get your license, you check that box, and you think it's just a small thing.
At 16, Matt signed up to be an organ donor.
There was no alternative for me except a transplant.
Because of Tom's age and other health concerns, 5 different hospitals refused to consider him for a heart transplant. But the Mayo Clinic gave Tom a lifeline, putting him on a waiting list for a new heart.
I am tickled that I'm doing as well as I am.
That's Tom, 2 days after he received that lifeline, thanks to Matt.
Proud of Matt. Really proud of Matt.
The heart that I grew up with and like felt in all of my hugs when I hugged him that it's still out there somewhere.
The day is finally here. Long awaited, by the way, long awaited.
Pretty excited about this.
Obviously, in my case, they're always going to carry a very, very warm spot in my heart.
8 months after Matt died, Matthew's dad, Jared, his mom, Cheryl, and younger sister, Casey, embraced the heart they love.
Wow.
Hi, you must be Casey.
Cheryl.
The waiting
Nice to meet you.
is finally over.
One more, Jared.
Hey,
You know,
oh man.
I woke up this morning and told
So nice to meet you.
Matt that Mom and Dad's coming today.
This is his graduation picture.
Both families shared memories
Is this you?
and created new ones.
Add friend.
Because of Matt,
Oh, what a good picture.
Tom gets more time with his wife, Ann, and their 4 grandchildren.
Would you like to listen to your brother's heart?
And the Heislers get to hear from Matt again. A sister who only wanted to feel her brother's heart now gets to hear it.
We're all gonna listen. Do I do it this way?
Matt didn't just donate his heart. His generosity helped 60 people. A 46-year-old woman received one of Matt's kidneys. The other went to a 56-year-old woman. The life of a 61-year-old man was saved by Matt's gift of a liver.
Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, believe me, it's my pleasure.
Last one, Tom.
All right.
Comfort found in a moment, well worth the wait.
It's awesome.
The gift of life never sounded so sweet. Both families say they'll stay in touch. They're already making plans for their next visit in March. Now, that is around the anniversary of Matt's death, and it's also Tom's annual checkup. By the way, a heart defect ended the life of the Heislers' firstborn. Alicia was just 4. Now, they wanted to donate Alicia's organs, but were unable to because she was so sick. But that is not the case for everyone. We have volunteers with LifeSource here to answer questions you might have about organ donation. You can also find out how you can register to become an organ donor. The number to call is 888-546-8811. 888-546-8811. And Julie and Randy, I have to tell you, the Heislers only agreed to this story because they wanted to get the message out about organ donation.
Once they start floating, that's when you really want to know they're done.
There are many ways
These are chicken thighs in this one.
to show appreciation.
They've been giving it all.
But thank
A
you
lot of the soldiers and stuff here are actually away from their loved ones.
says it best. And John Fisher says thanks
These fellas really deserve it.
with a hot meal.
Thank you for everything that they have been doing for us in this town.
It's like Mama cooking.
Lord, we'd like to thank you for the National Guard that's been here, everything they've been doing, the sacrifices they have made for it.
Wednesday, this former Marine and volunteers cooked enough food to serve more than 50 members of the South Carolina Army National Guard, the same soldiers who have been helping with flood recovery. Those soldiers have traded in their beds for these cots, and they've been eating meals already packaged. Good thing Fisher, a small business owner, knows about working with his hands.
Hey, for good service, good prices, it's good guys for all your automotive needs.
Instead of tuning cars at Good Guys Automotive,
Instead of fixing cars, you're fixing food.
Guard members were not allowed to talk on camera, but their smiles, a symbol they found comfort in a meal prepared from the heart. Adrienne Broaddus, News Channel 19, WLTX.